Just 10 days left until Election Day. It's full steam ahead on the campaign trail for Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And while more than 36 million Americans have already cast their votes, today marks the first day of early voting in California, New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. And the Great Lakes state is where we find both candidates today, with Trump set to speak at a rally at any moment. This evening, though, the vice president will be joined in Kalamazoo by former First Lady Michelle Obama. It comes after a busy Friday where Trump left rally-goers in Michigan waiting for more than 3 hours while he taped a podcast with Joe Rogan. As Vice President Harris held her largest campaign event to date with a crowd of 30,000 in Houston, Texas, featuring the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. Joining me now, Tara Setmayer, former GOP comms director and co-founder and CEO of the amazing Seneca Project, and former Florida Congressman David Jolly, who is an MSNBC political analyst. Two of my favorites joining me and getting us started today. Let's start with that Harris rally in Houston last night. David, you know, it was a huge emphasis on reproductive rights and the idea of individual freedoms. It was an emotional rally with a lot of the speakers talking about direct impacts on their lives. But importantly, the message that if Donald Trump gets elected again, he will go for a national abortion ban. Do you think emotions are going to actually persuade those that may still be on the fence, David?
Look, I think for Vice President Harris, if there's a singular policy issue that's going to turn people out, it's this. We've seen it in every ballot test since the Dobbs decision. I believe 7 out of 7 times when this question or this issue is at the forefront of voters' minds, Democrats outperform by wide margins. And so on the policy issue, you have the natural tee-up of reproductive freedom that merges perfectly with this idea of protecting democracy, because without protecting the fundamentals of democracy, you certainly can't protect reproductive freedom. And so the closing message, I think, on policy issues will be about reproductive freedom. And then on the question of democracy, we'll see, I believe, this Tuesday night when Vice President Harris speaks at the Ellipse, this overarching argument she needs to make, and she is making, about protecting democracy. Katie, I think the most gettable voters down the stretch are soft Republicans who are still undecided. Certainly, you need to turn out all the verticals: black women, black men, white labor, white working class voters, suburban women. But the gettable, persuadable voters that remain are soft Republicans who need to be reminded about the danger of Donald Trump and persuaded still to vote for Vice President Harris.
You know, Tara, I was in Austin yesterday. Down the street from me was Donald Trump doing a 3-hour podcast taping with Joe Rogan. Again, I understand David's point, but I think a lot of voters that maybe are still waiting to make a decision, they may be trying to get some substantive policy from Donald Trump. It is lacking. The only platform that man has shared is that America is a garbage can so far. Your thoughts about whether or not him going to something like a podcast with Joe Rogan made sense for somebody like Donald Trump, which, by the way, 3 hours was just the weave that he seems to be skilled at doing.
You know, it's clear that Donald Trump and his campaign made the decision that they're going to go after the broocracy. Like, that has been the vibe of Donald Trump's campaign, and apparently they think it's going to work. You see the way they disparage women. Donald Trump, even this morning, was tweeting away about how abortion doesn't matter anymore. Women will be fine. You know, they don't care. J.D. Vance said, oh, women don't care about abortion. They care about normal things. I'm sorry, excuse me? Women are voting at a record number in early voting in 3 states that we know of so far. 3 pretty important states like Georgia, Michigan, and now North Carolina. Normal things? I'm sorry, but normal things like our lives, our health care, whether you trust us to make decisions about our bodily autonomy, about our families, about our futures, about our daughters, those are normal things. So Donald Trump going over to a hyper-masculine, bro fest with Joe Rogan is a par for the course for him. He thinks that he's going to get more of those voters out to vote for him. They're normally low propensity voters, so good luck with that. But if you look at the contrast between Donald Trump and his approach and where he was yesterday and what Kamala Harris and her campaign is doing, even just forget the women for a second. You know, we run a women's organization, but we also appreciate our male allies. You look at the men who have stood up next to their wives, next to their sisters and their mothers, who are protecting them and speaking out about the outrageous Trump abortion bans and what this has meant for them, especially in a place like Texas. You look at the Ryan Hamiltons of the world, you look at Amanda's husband. These are men that actually love their wives, not the Joe Rogan type of men that despise women. That juxtaposition, I think, is really important for people to see, which is why we made an ad called Hope about IVF from the dad's perspective. No other organization has done that. Because to David's point, you need to talk to these suburban women and their husbands, because that daddy-daughter relationship is one of the most powerful, most persuadable relationships in politics. And that's why we wanted to focus in on that as part of our closing message, to talk to that constituency as well, because every vote's going to matter.
Let's be clear. It's not the daddy-daughter relationship that Tucker Carlson was talking about. That would happen with Donald Trump, with the daddy coming home. David, though, there was something of the 36 million early votes, 53% were women. But I wanted to point this out. You know, Joe Rogan 2 years ago said that Donald Trump was an existential threat to democracy. And yet, 2 years later, we see him doing the podcast interview with Donald Trump. But something that struck me, David, is the fact that Donald Trump still cannot produce evidence of election fraud from 2020, even though Donald Trump is already preparing to claim when he loses that there was election fraud. And yet Joe Rogan pressed him, and he couldn't get an answer from Donald Trump on that.
That's exactly right. And let me just plant a flag for Girl Dads for Harris, because that is a real thing. That is exactly what you all are talking about. But this issue, and it's really unsettling to see this, particularly down the stretch, hopefully for undecided voters. The notion that Donald Trump couldn't acknowledge to Joe Rogan that he lost the 2020 election, among these persuadable voters, these gettable voters that Vice President Harris is reaching out to. We saw it in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We saw it at the convention. We'll see it this coming week. She is actually saying, come be a part of our coalition to defend democracy. Katie, I have a hard time understanding why people are still undecided. These soft Republicans who can listen to Mike Pence and John Kelly say, this man is dangerous. Please take our word for it. Our traditional national security Republicans, we're telling you he's dangerous. Don't vote for him. And then we get to hear this week that Donald Trump is still denying the 2020 election, and he will contest this election. If he loses the electoral votes on election night or the days thereafter, this will go to January. Donald Trump will contest this again and put our nation through what we went through 4 years ago. I don't understand why these voters are still undecided. And I believe Vice President Harris's closing message is going to focus on exactly those voters to say, you can't go back. You cannot go back to Donald Trump. I think it's a convincing argument.
And, you know, Tara, something that happened was the Washington Post refusing to do an endorsement. You saw the LA Times refusing to do the same. It's really disheartening to see people sitting on the sidelines in a moment when there truly is an existential threat to democracy. Your thoughts about whether or not the Billionaire Bros Club is actually putting their finger on the scale of this 2024 election?
Oh, without question. It's obvious in a lot of respects, not just this one. I mean, the absolute malpractice and cowardice of the Washington Post and the legacy of that newspaper in this moment right now is really unspeakable. How irresponsible, because these billionaire bros are worried about their bottom lines. As women in particular, we don't have the option to opt out. We don't get that. You know, our lives are at stake. Our democracy is at stake. We don't get that option. But they are going to opt out of this now. It's shameful. And you look at this not only from this perspective, but also the infusion of money. What Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and the crypto bros and all of these guys, I mean, they're even there's this new PAC out that's trying to convince Republican women that Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Donald Trump were on the same side of the abortion issue. $20 million was infused into this super PAC at the last minute, because they know that this is a kryptonite issue for them, trying to compare the two, saying that they were on the same side and that she agreed it should go back to the states. They just did that this weekend as a Hail Mary, because you know that they're desperate and they're worried about women saying, we're not going to go back. We're not going to put up with this. No, you're not going to do that. And like you said, in early voting, women are the majority in early votes. This is a lie. They are dishonest. They are degenerates. And they don't care about us. They only care about themselves. And they certainly don't care about women's lives and the fact that women are dying because of Trump's abortion bans, and that even Republican women are uncomfortable with that and are going to vote on that issue because it is about freedom. They are trying to put their thumbs on the scale, but that's why it's so important for organizations like ours and others that we get that truth out there to make sure, because we tell the truth, they don't. They're liars. We tell the truth, and I think women are going to see through that as long as we can keep getting that information out there to them on platforms like these, and we're so appreciative of that, because women are going to save this democracy. That's what we're convinced of. Let's do it, ladies.
I know David Jolly will not disagree with you, Tara Setmir. And as I say goodbye, I will add this. Women's BS meters, they're bar none the best that exists. So it's good to see you, Tara Setmir and David Jolly. Thanks for getting me started today. I appreciate it.